Melbourne grabs it and handballs it away. And for the first time, the Swans are onward to victory. Swansational scenes at North Sydney Oval.
Welcome to Thursday Lions. I'm your host, Scooty Pappenhausen. I'm back. I'm fresh-faced. It's finals, so we inject a bit of speed, a bit of star power. And Nikki's obviously in Italy, so she's doing better than all of us. Little 2-week jaunt, so you guys are stuck with me, but it's good to be back on top. And we'll spear into the first week of AFL finals and some of the NRL finals as well. But no rest for the wicked down in Melbourne. MG, women's footy's kept you up and about on the week off.
Yeah, good morning, Scooty. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, no men's footy, but good to see whoever's running the prices at the bookies. They just gave a few free hits over the weekend. So, yeah, it was a good start. Melbourne line, I think, moved 8 or 10 points in the first game and the overs sailed over. So, yeah, it was a positive first week in the women's, and now I'm fresh, ready to go. We've done some damage already in some of these totals, posting too high for finals and a bit of weather around, so we'll discuss those shortly. But, yeah, looking to get off to a fast start. Tonight's game, Melbourne-Collingwood.
Yeah, a little bit of rain around Melbourne, so that's really interesting. I've been a pretty harsh critic of women's footy, but I did tune into a couple of games last week, and the standard has lifted, so good to see. And I was just shocked at some of the crowds. Some of the crowds look absolutely outstanding there, so big queues over in Perth, and I guess people are voting with their feet, so the AFL are absolutely making a mockery of other codes because they're getting plenty through the gates. I'll tell you what, one of my NRL teams is they might be better placed in the women's side. The Rabbitohs didn't make the finals, Toprope, and just there's big dramas there, but it's good to have finals rugby league up and about this week, but it's bittersweet for you. There's only 4 weeks at the greatest game of all left, so how are you feeling about it all?
Well, I was about to say, Scoot, it was great to have you back. Ryan Pappenhausen kind of fired into the finals, but all of a sudden we open a weekend, it was opening week of the NRL finals, talking about AFL women's footy. Unbelievable ages, Scoot. Unbelievable. I expected more from you. I expected this to be straight in, hard-hitting rugby league from the get-go, the national code. Up and about. It is the start of it. It's a great period. I love this week of the finals, but then we've already got 9 games left. But the good news is, Scoot, unlike other codes around Australia, rugby league is the international game, so we've got a month of international footy following the end of the NRL. So we'll be just sweet. We'll be just sweet. More sweet than bitter, which is unusual for me.
It's an interesting one. If we have a quick look in the rearview mirror from last week, it was like a mass tanking, just a mass walkover. The B teams lined up for Storm and the Broncos. Storm were victorious on that occasion. Quite a strange betting move, and just strange just in general. And now I guess the two sides face off in the opener on Friday night. Run us through what happened in last week's final round.
It was a very strange final round. If you're a relatively astute punter, you you play yourself some decent middles because the lines are bouncing all over the shop. But Storm rested 13 players, Broncos rested 8, and it was a fairly wild kind of game there. But with the most notable was Ryan Pappenhausen played his first full 80 minutes of first grade in 13 months. There was a try assist from the great man, and now he looks to be well and truly back. And we'll get into those games a bit later on, but he was certainly the story of that game. We went to Friday night. Manly smashed the Tigers in a completely irrelevant game, except if you're a gambler. South and the Roosters, huge game. Scooty, field position. Former host OB, field position. Former host Nishi, up and about. Wild times though, but the rest of the job on South, and there's been nothing but kind of what's the eulogies have been written for South. One of the biggest collapses in history. They were second premiership favourites after round 11, so missed the final. Unbelievable. Dalton a bit the Ironman Warriors. They left 9 or 10 stars at home. The Warriors, no surprises there. 34-10. Panthers ended the Cowboys run and secured the Raiders a spot in the final with their 44-12 win. There was strong speculation they were going to rest a lot of players. In the end, they didn't, and much to the Raiders' relief. But the Cowboys, very disappointing season. Knights, now 9 on the trot, smashed the Dragons 32-12. Titans beat the embarrassing Bulldogs 34-30. The Bulldogs finished with the 12th worst defence of the NRL era and the 4th worst defence of the last decade. So well done to Cameron Ciraldo, Phil Gould, and the team that beat Birdie was puts the steel to the Bulldogs. Well done, you've done a great job. And the Sharks and Raiders. Raiders were right in this one. They were up 6-4, down 8-6 at the time when Sebastian Chris got sent off. Absolutely went to water, as they always do. So they've snuck into 8th spot, and the first team in Premiership history to make the finals with a differential of minus 100 or less.
Well, yeah, it's I guess minus North Queensland Cowboys and South, who most would have picked to finish in the top 8. I think it's you just look at the lineup for the first week of games, and I think the NRL will be chuffed at the way that the ladder's fallen, and it looks an absolute beauty. If you have a look at the round 27 stats, you'll see that 75% of the favourites got the chocolates, despite some topsy-turvy side selections. 63% of the covers there. The totals went on the knocker there at 50%. The home win was at 63%. If you have a look at that for the season stats, 69% of favourites have won, 48% have covered, so slightly in there to the plus. Totals are a little bit low, and then the home teams have got the chocolates for the season in its entirety. There's a fair bit happening over in New York at the moment. Have you been catching any of the tennis, MG? Obviously, that was your bread and butter when you moonlighted, or you were a bookie at Pinnacle Sports, but what are you making of this US Open? I think Djokovic had a bit of a heart scare or a bit of a murmur there. He's a $1.65 favourite. Alcaraz is $2.60. Medvedev $8.50. Zverev is $26 and Ben Shelton $41. Any thoughts on that market?
Yeah, we've got 5 left. So one of the semis has been set where the young 20-year-old from America, Shelton, takes on Djokovic. You don't often see semi-final prices where the favourite's going out at $1.03, but it looks like from the start of the tournament, Scooty, when we put it up, there were 2 clear favourites, and I don't think anything's changed. So Alcaraz goes round today shortly at $1.20 chance against the Rev, so he should go into the semi-final there against the 3-seed Medvedev, and I'd be surprised if one doesn't play 2. And they've kind of alternated results during the year, so it'll be a great clash. And Djokovic broke another record by reaching his 47th semi-final in a major, which is unbelievable, going past Roger Federer.
Surprised they let him in the joint. He's still unvaccinated. Looking at the women's card, Sabalenka $2.10, Coco Gauff $2.60, Machova $5.50, Keys $9, Vondrasova, I think I've backed her up the Flemington Straight a couple of times, $15. Any insights or thoughts on the women's side of the draw? It's always a bit unpredictable, the women's.
Yeah, we said at the start of the tournament just to be a bit wary. 12 of the last 16 have been different winners in the women's, so it does become a bit of a lottery, and the favourite did go out there. So Sabalenka's been the second favourite throughout. Goff's been up in the betting because she won a tournament coming in as well. So we've got the last of the quarterfinals playing again today, and the winner will play Sabalenka, the 2-seed, and in the other semi-final, Goff will play Machova. So I think I think the 2 favourites, it's hard to go past them. Sabalenka will play Goff in the final, and it'll be a good match because Goff's the young American. So they've had a very good tournament overall, Scooty. The Americans, they've got some players back in the back end of the tournament.
Going super. The FIBA Men's World Cup has joined the pointy end too. No surprises at the top of the betting here. Top Sport $1.60 USA, Canada $3.75, Serbia $8.75, and Germany $10. So, yeah, semi-final stage here looks like it's Canada, Serbia, and then USA. Sorry. And then what is it? USA and Germany on the other side.
Yeah, so USA play Serbia in one final. They'll go around at 10-point favourites, and Canada will be 5-point favourites over Serbia there. So, a bit disappointing for the Aussies. They went out without help, didn't even get past the group stages. So, unfortunately, couldn't get on the back of the women's soccer success there, Scooty, and they had high expectations and come up donuts.
That'd be a pretty disappointing result, I would have thought, given their squad.
Yeah, very poor. Yeah, they never fired a shot really. So with the amount of NBA players we've got on the increase, it was a very disappointing result.
A national disgrace.
Surprised you know what it is.
Absolutely appalling.
And our NFL season starts tomorrow. Toprope Friday, 10:20 a.m. Detroit Lions and KC Chiefs, Kansas City. I'm tipping Kansas City Chiefs will be a hard roll in that one. Let's have a quick look at Super Bowl. Kansas City Chiefs $6.50, Eagles $8.50, the Bills are $10, Bengals $10, San Francisco 49ers $10, Cowboys $15, Jets $17, Ravens $19, Lions $22, and Chargers $23. Super Bowl. Any angles or any value picks there, really?
Yeah, I'll give you three main picks, and I'll give you a roughie. I think from the AFC side, I think Baltimore are going to be very hard to roll. I think it's going to be down to Baltimore, Buffalo, and Kansas City. Obviously, those two have the young quarterback with the Lamar contract situation settled a bit. I think they've improved their receivers. I think they've got a real passing image here from the Ravens. I'm going with them. I think they probably jump into that Cincinnati slot there. In the NFC, I think I'm very happy to take on Philadelphia this year. I think it's going to be a little overstretched this year. Dallas to win the division, and I think Dallas and San Francisco. So a throwback to the 90s. Could be fighting out the NFC there. And a roughie on the AFC side of things, I bet this team every which way, overs, division, match playoffs. I'm sick for it. The Las Vegas Raiders, I think they're in for a big year. Bit concerned about their coach, but I like the Jimmy Garoppolo signing. I think they were a better team last year than their win total led on. So I think they're a very good player this year. 80-1.
MG, any of Toprope's thoughts line up with any glance that you've had at Super Bowl, or not on your radar yet with so much women's footy?
No, don't be funny. I'm surprised Toprope's tipping the 49ers again. Jeez.
Yeah, one at odds.
Hey, Melbourne Storm and 49ers. That's a surprise tip from the Toprope throwing it in. I think the Chiefs are obviously there to beat. I agree with Toprope. I think the Eagles too short for me. Not sure about the Bills. Just running down the list. So I think Burrows will be there with the Bengals again. And there is big raps on the Cowboys, but geez, lack of production for mine. They just struggle to get it done at the business end. So I think you'd be wary there, and you can have the Jets at $17. Leave me out of the Jets. Miles under.
How unders the vote?
They're like Carlton at the start of the year when they were $11 or something ridiculous. So yeah, leave me out of the Jets. Ridiculous unders.
All right, hopefully something there for the punters back at home. Let's have let's get the serious stuff up and talking now. Let's talk about the AFL Premiership prices, and I'm tipping 90% of the people that watch this show have taken a little bit of 100-1 about the field here. So we might even get the boys' thoughts on what to do with some of these maybe lay back or these cash out propositions, or which sides that you can sort of ride right until the prelims or the grand final, because there's plenty of offers flying thick and fast at the moment. But holding sometimes is the best thing you can do. Collingwood Magpies are a short favourite here, $3.30. Brisbane Lions are $3.80. Melbourne Demons are $3.80. Port Adelaide are $5.50. Fair bit of juice here on the board at Top Sports and all bookies here. Carlton $11. Giants $21. Saints $34. And Swans, the rank outsider, at $41. MG, if I'm holding a ticket on maybe the top three in the market at 100-1, Collingwood, Brisbane, Melbourne, have you any thought of cashing out, or would you be holding on for dear life, waiting till the prelims or grand final day to trade out of that business? Or how would you play it? Sounds like
you're pretty deep into these bet 100-1 promos. How many accounts did you get rolling for this, Scooty?
Well, I'm Australian.
Plenty of the phone book going on. No, it's Scooty, but the plan would be if you got a ticket in the top four, you wouldn't have Port Adelaide, I wouldn't assume anyway, but for the top three, definitely I'd just be waiting for prelim week. They should all get there, and I'd wait until, as you said, there's too much percentage in there at the moment to start doing this kind of stuff, so I'd wait and just see how it shakes out for the prelim week, and then if you want to trade with 4 teams left, I'd be doing it that way.
So let's say you've got all three. I'm not saying I do, but if you've got the top three absolutely rolling, could you do worse things than have 200 on Port Adelaide?
Not going to Brisbane. I'd be waiting right now. I think Brisbane will get the job done up there. They haven't lost up at the Gabba this year, so if you've got all three, Scooty, I'd just be waiting for the victory and waiting which one you get paid out on. I wouldn't be stressing too much about it, mate.
AFL Brownlow medal looks like a little bit of a sweat for anyone that snapped up early prices for Nick Dacos. $2.70 at Top Sport. Marcus Bontempelli, $3. Zach Butters, $5.20. It's unbelievable to read his name in the top four. Christian Pataka, $6.75. Lockie Neal, $11. Snubbed in the All-Australian team, which is incredible. Tim Taranto, $56. Errol Goulden, $61. Connor Rosie, $75. And Jordan Dawson, $75. A bit of a changing of the guard in this Brownlow medal market here. Nick Dacos, can he hang on?
He can. He's going to be a leader right to the death. I think it's a great count. Sets up to be. There's definitely only 4 chances. I think the ones there. I know Neil's still $11. He's miles under. He can't win it for mine. I think there's only 4 chances. I think they're all pretty close. People have got difference of opinions, but everyone seems to have it in the tied category, winner by 1, winner by 2, and most of them within 2 or 3 votes, the 4 players, Scoot. So it all depends how you read it. And I think the live count might be one for the ages this year with Dacos being such a large leader and just how the bookies are going to read their sheets, I guess, to when you pinpoint. I think from a personal level, I think if you're going to back Butters from Port Adelaide, he has a very quiet start to the year, whereas Petrarca and Dacos both rip out of the gate. So I would be staying away from Butters pre-post, and I'd be waiting for him in the run if I was picking a Brownlow strategy. But yeah, I think if you're on Dacos, I think you're going to get pretty good options to trade out in the run as well, because he'll be leading by a fair margin. So you'll be able to sit and wait and just see how the count's shaping out, leading into round 17, 18 where he goes cold.
Outstanding. And we'll obviously offer some Brownlow assistance with MG's Brownlow tip package. We'll organise that over the next couple of weeks, because I do know for a fact that is one thing that Toprope openly admits to enjoying is Brownlow medal night. Not that he can actually sit through the count, but he loves the 2 weeks before, where he has 867 bets responsibly through all the different player action markets. So it's the one thing that you can bet on that the race has already run. So it's a very rare event, Toprope.
I've got a great strategy for the Brownlow. Just keep betting until the jump. Watch it when they read the votes out, and then put some items as a deadwood on in between. Keep it up. When they start reading out the votes, get back on. Because I can't stand all the guff in between. But sensational. Don't know any of these players. I'd love to be able to back a Polynesian bloke one time in an event, but it's a very staid sport, the AFL. Not as progressive as we got that. But good. I will say this: it's much like Eurovision, Brownlow night does offer a spectacle. So I'll give it that.
Don't know where to go with that one, but MG's tip package is still in the positive, so he's up 9.92 units, and he's still hitting around 2.75% pop. We might do a couple of deals for the NRL and AFL tip packages for the rest of the final series. We might just pump it out if you bought something with us or an existing customer. We might give you guys the finals for free as a little double scoop there. Premiership prices with the NRL Toprope. Let's pretend that I'm on the Panthers as well at 100-1, and they're $2.40 at Top Sport. Broncos $3.10. Tipping there's not many people on them at the big odds. Melbourne Storm would be a moral at $6, and then you've got the Warriors are a bit of a jack in the box at $12, and then Newcastle Knights $17. I think Kingsley Bartholomew might be the Lone Ranger on the Roosters at $6. They've ballooned back out to $21, and then you got Nico Hines' Sharks at $34 and Raiders $101. Am I riding the Panthers looking for their three-peat at the 100-1 and just unrelenting?
I'll give you the 3 most important words in gambling, Scoot. Never cash out. Of course you're not cashing out. You really get right, especially if you've got the Panthers. Now, I will say this. I think there's not the Lone Ranger on the Sydney Roosters. I'm also with you on the Sydney Roosters. I know that Beto have been offering $50 for your $1,000 ticket. Well, I would say never cash out. I would probably take that cash out and then put the $50 on the fair and take the $38 available for the rest of this. So, there are ways to play it to keep your goal alive. But Penrith, Penrith are going to absolutely smoke the Warriors this weekend. And they're a game away from their 4th straight grand final. So, man, I think Brisbane are severe unders. They've got a hard game this week against Storm. We'll get to that one. And if they lose that one, what they have for the previous 14 occasions against the Storm, well, then they're on the wrong side of the draw, and they're going to have to go through Penrith. So, very, very difficult time.
That's exciting. That's music to so many people's ears out there, and the gambling the gambling landscape, and it could.
I'll tell you who's uses non-music to. All those that bet are trying to cash out. It's like get investment in their business that no one wants to take on a hold of liability of God knows how much.
It could be the stone end of better. It might be the fastest, I guess, growth strategy ever to the. It might bury him. I'm guessing somewhere between a $50 million to $80 million stand on Penrith Panthers without knowing. I've got no mail internally.
I'll take the over on that. I'll take the over on the 80.
MG.
I think it's around that 75 to 100 mark. Yeah, I know that. I've heard a few. I've heard a few times they've been trying to cash out. I don't know. Even bet out. I know they tried to do it a couple of weeks ago at the 280 on Goodwill. A few golfers that I play with it, they were trying to offload 5 or 10 at the 280. I don't understand what difference that makes. You got to go down with the ship, don't you? At this stage, but yeah. I don't know. They're going to have to get to the team hotel better and stitch up the Penrith players leading in for.
Exactly what I was going to say, MG.
And they're going to have to nobble them, surely.
They would be better off spending that 50 to million getting them to make them through his knee than they would be trying to get you out these silly cash out offers.
Yeah, I'd just go in and cooking them meals leading up to the day. That'd be my go. Not like that's been done before, 1998 World Cup soccer.
Anyway, we'll watch this space. Having a look at the season tally, I think it's the first losing year at the moment. Still time to run for Toprope since he's joined Little Birdie. So losing at 13% there and minus 57 units. So a little bit of a stinger there. But like all good things, he's not done yet. He can fight a way out of this one, I think. And
I was looking forward to their 85-year grand final bet.
I did read something about Martingale and Elon Musk using, a $3 billion bank, and see how long it would take you to tap out on Martingale strategies at casinos. So maybe put that one into your Twitter search. It's entertaining. Okay, let's start looking at the games this week. Look at the AFL as a priority because it's Thursday night, the first one. This is an absolutely mouth-watering contest. Collingwood, $1.88. Melbourne Demons, $1.92. The Lions, 1.5, and it's 154.5. Money for the under in the total here, MG. And Nick Dacos is the news through the week. He's not going to be up for this, and I assume they're just going to roll the dice with him pending how this match plays out on Thursday night, and he may only have 2 decent games in himself. I know from what I saw last week, he was still pretty underdone.
Yeah, he was never going to play for this match. That was just all media BS, trying to make stories leading into it so they got something to talk about. Was never going to play, probably most unlikely to play next week. Was only ever going to be set for the prelim from the mail I got, and I think they'll stick to that. And if Collingwood do get the job done, he'll play in the prelim. And if they miss next week, I would highly doubt that he comes in and plays. But we'll see what the next week brings over. But yeah, as a contest, this is first v fourth, cracking contest, MCG neutral ground. Both these teams, Collingwood 11-3 at the G and Melbourne 11-2. So both dominant records at the MCG. The crowd will be interesting. Melbourne are trying to hype up their crowd, but unfortunately the snow season's probably not finished. I'm not sure how many will be back, but yeah, the G will be rocking for Collingwood. And if they get out of the blocks early, then you'll know it's a home ground for Collingwood. The stats here, pretty similar in terms of their offense, how their totals run. Collingwood do have 11-5 record and a 10-6 cover, so advantages go with them. Collingwood have covered 8 of the last 10 against Melbourne. Surprisingly, the mark's been pretty solid here around the 1. It tried to push to the 2 and come back this morning, so it looks like that's where it's going to stay. And as you said, the key to this game is going to be the weather. They put up 167.5 last week. The bookies tried to be brave going early. Unfortunately, didn't read the weather report that was coming. Whether the rain actually comes or not is just the cherry on top. This game always was going to be a sub 160 total the way these two play. And the only way Melbourne's going to win is turn it into a bit of a chess match, try and slow down the game. So pretty comfortable that we bet early there in the unders. It's moved down 12, 13 points. And I think it'll sit whether the rain comes or not. We've got about a 3-4 hour stretch of where the rain's meant to come. I think the key in this match is, Howe for Collingwood will play a defensive role in the forward line on lever to stop the intercept mark. So I think that'll be a key and one to watch. But I'm going to go shade Collingwood at this stage, Scooty, without too much confidence, and pretty keen on the under.
Scary because when Howe goes forward, he can actually kick goals. So that could be the winning matchup there.
Yeah, I just think with the matchups going forward, I don't think Howe needs to play as the third tall back. I think between Murphy and Moore both coming in, they'll cover whatever Melbourne dish up with Van Rooyen and McDonald and also Fritz. And I think, as I said, they just can't afford Lever to have the intercept marks going in. And I think that Howe will play a defensive role on him. And, he'll look to kick some goals as well.
The weather's definitely coming, so it'll be interesting to see how slippery it is later on tonight and how early that rain falls. So make sure you check the forecast and the satellite radar at thebomb.gov. Next game is an absolute beauty. I know you're up and about this one. Top rope, Brisbane Broncos 159, Storm 235, line 4.5, total 42.5. I think the weather is absolute Mickey Mouse up here in Brizzy. Slight one. I do see that there's possible shower, 50% chance, maybe up to 3 mil, but it should be just done and dusted by then anyway. We've had just mad electrical storms all week.
Oh, mate, the more rain there is, the better this is going to be for the Storm. Was that, the Broncos' big advantage is their speed and their ability to kind of move the ball quickly. The wetter this becomes, the more it plays into the hands of the Storm big men going through the middle there. So you will surprise you none. Surprise no listener or any that I'm super, super keen on the Storm here. There's one good bet in rugby league is the Storm to beat the Broncos. It's been talked about how, the Storm won 14 straight against the Broncos. Maybe the Broncos haven't made their best over the last 7, 8 years. They're 31-4 in the last 35. They've come to 25 of the last 32 games. They've won 13 straight at Suncorp. Right? The dominance is obscene. Absolutely obscene. They've scored 40 plus in 5 of the last 8. 5 of the last 7 with full strength sides. So, Jerome Hughes fit, Pappenhausen on the bench. Who knows how he'll be used, but I'll give you the tip, he'll be used well. Clay Bellarmine, very astute. Kevin Walters, not so much. I think the strengths of the Broncos, how they're going to move the ball wide. I think there's one coach who's going to be able to counteract that. It's Clay Bellarmine. They've got a better bench. The Storm. You're going to see, Harry Grant against going to have a big game at WR. He's the one guy who's going to be able to put Payne Haas, Tom Flegler, those big Broncos forwards on the back foot, looking out for a big game from him. But plus 4.5 is a gift, absolute gift. Storm can win, Storm 13 plus, and get all around Melbourne Storm. 650 for the Premiership. If they win this game, they're into about $3. So I've been taking the Melbourne Storm here, and possibly even shorter. So they'll be a game away. They'll be a game away on the easy side of the draw of the Storm. So very keen on Melbourne.
Interesting one. I think Reece Walsh is the best player I've seen since maybe Ryan Pappenhausen at his top. I know nothing about rugby league, and I think he can swing the game here. Reece Walsh, if he has any sort of impact, I think he can be the difference. But if Reece Walsh doesn't fire, Broncos are in a lot of trouble, I would have thought, in this one. But fascinating. I tell you what, I'll be definitely watching this game, and the Friday night game of AFL will barely be switched on in my household. So, gosh, what a great 2 opening games, Thursday night, Friday night. So make sure you get the missus out on a girls' night for one or both of those evenings. And Friday, the undercard here, or the secondary game, is Carlton versus Sydney Swans. $1.48, $2.65, Blues favourite. 13.5 is the line. And 157.5 is the total here. D-Day for Carlton. Gosh, it'd be embarrassing if they lost this one, MG.
It's been a huge build-up. Don't pretend you don't have 2 TVs to watch all this sport as well, Scoot. Watching off one TV, you are kidding yourself. This will be front and centre, this game, and the MCG returns again. They'll probably be aiming for back-to-back 90,000 plus crowd. The rain might deter a few, but both of these sides, interesting. At certain points of the year, they were large odds to make finals. So they've both come from the clouds at certain parts. 10 weeks ago maybe? Voss was out the door. He'd packed his gear and everyone was burning their memberships and stuff. Geez, it changes Carlton supporters. But they've won 9 of their last 10 and basically through the last game where they didn't have to win against the Giants. And Sydney lost a tough one against Melbourne. So even though they're both coming off losses, Carlton have won 9 of their last 10. Sydney have won 6 of their last 7. So both in very good form. Key here is the venue. Home ground advantage to Carlton's massive. They're 5-3 with a draw on the G this year, and Sydney are 0-3. So they have not played the SCG well, got smashed by Melbourne by 50 points, lost to Collingwood by 5 goals, and even lost to Richmond by 2 goals. So they have not performed well at the MCG, which will favour Carlton. If they get the ball out and running, they're going to be hard to stop. And if they get up early, the crowd will just take over as well. So not a betting match for me, Scoot. I just think the hype's too much for Carlton and they're well protected in the market. If I was going to have a play, it'd be Sydney on the plus because I think they'll try and shut it down. Again, this will be a low-scoring game. Plenty of weather around again. This total has been smashed to the unders. Pretty happy we bet early here. It's moved some 12 or 13 points. I don't think it's finished, especially with the rain forecast. I think this will be a low-scoring game and it'll be a grinding affair. I don't think there'll be too much in it going into the last quarter, but I'd shade Sydney and definitely the unders.
If Carlton don't win this final, they may never win a final in the next sort of 5 or 10 years, I'm saying. It's a must bet. I'm all over the Blues here, and I'm just going to be chips in Carlton. And
You got too much money. You must be travelling on the races. I know you had a big day yesterday, Scoop, but there's better bets than me falling into the Carlton trap, fair dinkum.
I'm just a sucker for punishment, so it'd be a good one just to bet and not watch it and just have a little mini fill up on maybe the Storm plus, and hopefully they belt the absolute bejesus out of each other. But it's D-Day for Carlton. I think they'll surprise, and they should be pretty bitter and burn about what sort of happened. They fell apart last season, so I think there'll be a bit of salt in the wounds, and I don't think Sydney are going as good, so I'll make them a good bet there, Carlton. I think they're an absolute gift. And the next one is Saturday afternoon at 4 o'clock, so we'll be just chewing through probably 10 units worth of betting for the Little Birdie Syndicate, who MG mentioned. They've had an absolute mozza. I think we're winning 40 units for the week, so make sure you get on our coattails for spring because we've got through the filthy winter and we're up and about at the moment. But Saturday afternoon, 4 o'clock, Penrith Panthers, $1.19, New Zealand Warriors, $4.75, 13.5 the line, and 41.5. Chips in Penrith, you say Toprope earlier. Why can't the New Zealand Warriors upset them here?
I'm not convinced that the Warriors are nearly as good as their record as kind of come to be. And the one truth is that you would think that a team as well as Penrith would be one of those teams that are overbet time and time again, that they're over the odds. It's not true at home. They've come at 25 of their last 37 at home. As good as they are, they continue to overachieve at home. Finals football, their defensive record has been obscene. They've allowed 11 tries in the last 7 games, 7 finals games of finals football. It is utterly obscene. How many of those have been meaningful as well? You know, like they let in a couple of late tries when the game was already in the bag against the Eels in the grand final last year. They just do not concede tries in finals. They peak at the right time. The Warriors, they haven't covered any of their last 6 games this season. They played some pretty ordinary teams that run. In their last 6 meetings against the Panthers, they've averaged 8.67 points. They got smashed earlier in the year. They got smashed when they played a blue bet last. They've won 7 straight, 7 in the last 21. I've got to be all over the Panthers here. The line's moving their way up in 11.5 at 13.5. This will not start shorter than 14.5. I'm betting up now.
Love it. Love the confidence. All right. Next game we're going to have a look at is St Kilda and GWS Giants here. Giants, $1.70, St Kilda, $2.15. The line's 4.5 and 154.5. Tight one, this one, MG. Can mix their form a bit both sides.
Yeah, interesting matchup. Surprising a favourite is the outsider interstate team travelling here. The venue's also interesting at the MCG. I wonder how close it would have been at the Dome. Because St Kilda get no advantage by going to the MCG. They've only played there twice this year, been 1-1. Giants have only played once at the MCG, got smashed by 10 goals against Collingwood. So I think I don't think St Kilda will be happy going to the MCG to play the Giants, and the money's indicated that way. The Giants opened 1 in the market, now out to 4. So all the money's for the informed team. The Giants have won 9 of their last 11 to make the finals, and St Kilda have been very inconsistent after a very good start. But I just think if the Giants get it on their terms and they get it out and running, St Kilda's the way they set up and like to play the Dome is they can shut down and make it ugly scoring. St Kilda only average totals of 149 this year, which is extraordinarily low. So whether they can achieve that defensive setup at the MCG, what will help them is the weather report. There is rain around, chance for rain. It'll be a low-scoring game. But, yeah, I'm with the Giants here. I just think they're an informed side. They've got more upside, more potency in attack. And if they get it on their terms, even though St Kilda have won the last 4 straight head-to-head, I think I'll be with the Giants here. Happy to be on the under ticket. We backed it under 160. I think this will close closer to 150 come game time.
I'd probably lean the Giants' way if you're free reeling and you've had a little bit of a mini fill up until now. If I had a free bet, I'd be all over the Giants here, and I don't think there's going to be enough rain to really make it a bog and a slog, and that'd probably suit the Saints, and Roscoe would be absolutely cheering a 0-0 draw here, but I think the Giants might just have a touch of class and be a bit too quick for the Saints. Let's have a look at the next NRL game. This is an absolute corker, wet dream for the NRL fans. Cronulla Sharks, the Finn, $1.90 against the Chooks, $1.90, and 40.5 is the total. Angle here, Toprope.
Numbers not throwing up a lot in this one. The Roosters have won 7 of the last 8 against the Sharks. They've covered 6 of those. Good record of Shark Park, 4 or 5. Both teams ended with a bit of form. I think there is a little concern around who will play forward for the Sharks. Will Kennedy's been named on the extended bench. Connor Tracy's hurt. Could both play. Neither could play, unclear at this stage. But I'm going with the Roosters here. Not a lot of numbers to kind of back this up, but I suspect they're playing a bit of football. They've won 5 on the trot coming in. What I really have loved to see is Sam Walker and Rahage played 2 games back after being dropped and then getting injured. The young fella is their best halfback option, and everyone in the club knows it. But yeah, this time last year was playing tired, was playing without energy. He's used that axing/injury to really freshen up. He's got a try each week. He got a try assist. Up against Nicho Hynes. I think it's a great matchup there. Hynes struggled in the big game last year for the Sharks. And Cronulla have a very poor record against top 8 teams. They've only covered 4 of their last 14. So early money for the Chooks. I think the Chooks are good value this week. So I'll be betting them. Not, this is not over the gap job here, but I'll be betting the Chooks up.
D-Day for Nicho Hynes, real crunch match. He needs to get his confidence in a big game and a big win on the board.
Maybe it's just Freddie's long game, Scoot, and just try to get the Roosters, 2-goal turn the Roosters home by completely crushing Nico's spirit throughout the Origin series.
I don't think Freddie's got a long game, has he?
That's a very valid point.
On Saturday night, it's an absolute ripper. The Brisbane Lions take on Port Adelaide Power, 7:25 at the Gabatoir. This that looks like an absolute corker, one of those classic Brisbane finals. They always seem to be super close, these matches, those night games up at Brisbane, but they find a way. Brizzy, $1.45, $2.75 the Power, 15.5 and 173.5 the line there. MG, you're in love with Brisbane.
I am, and they owe me plenty, so I'm going to ride them to the grave. Feel like it's almost the same as Toprope with the Storm. I've been on the Lions a couple of years now, but this is definitely their best chance. Listen, Scoot, you summarised it well from the top with how you said how these Brisbane games go. They do find a way. They're undefeated this year at home, 11-0. They've won 12 straight at the Gabba.
Oh, no.
I also do think that the bettings, even though it's gone 15 down to 14, back up to 15, I still think the line favours Port here. I don't think there's that much between the sides, even though it's impossible to go against Brisbane at home, and I think they will find a way to get the win, but I couldn't jump into the minus here. I think the value's on the plus with Port Adelaide. And I also think, because what you mentioned with a night game at the Gabba, even though it's perfect weather during the day, I think it's about 24 degrees and sunny, night games at the Gabba, this total opened 168 up to, 173, some places 174. If this reaches 175 range and continues to slide up, I think this is an under. I think this is a trap total play for the over, and I think they're just sawing the punters in here. And I think I'd be swinging to the under, being a night game and a final. Too much on the line here for the winner. They get the week off straight into the prelims, so I don't think it'll be as high scoring. From a stats point of view, both great winning sides. Both had 17 wins, 6 losses on the year. Brisbane have won 4 straight. Port have won 3 straight. As I said, at the Gabba, Brisbane are 11-0. They've won their last 4 straight against Port Adelaide, 2 of them by decent margins as well. Port Adelaide did beat Brisbane by 54 points in round 1 and kicked poorly in that game. They could have probably won by 70 or 80, so interesting last game. But yeah, I just think both teams pretty much full strength, Scoot. I think it'll be a cracking game, and I don't think it'll be as big as what the betting suggests.
You probably could hear my mouse clicking, and that was me looking at Joe Danaher, 2+ goals, Charlie Cameron, 2+ goals.
Moral, already tipped that.
Brisbane Lions to win, Zach Bailey, just anytime goal scorer. And with a little top sport top-up button, I get $3.55, and that could just be money for Jam. All those things need to happen for Brisbane Lions to get this one over the line. So I'll be putting some of my racing chips onto that one for Saturday night, and I might have to get into the 196 cans to get through that match. I'll be struggling to keep my eyes open late on a Saturday night for that one. But I think that's the best way to play that one.
Nothing's ever free, Scoot. You should know that.
Sunday afternoon is a little bit of respite. There's not much doing in AFL land, but thankfully PVL scheduled a game at 4 o'clock on a Sunday arvo to lift our spirits. $1.21 the Newcastle Knights, Canberra Raiders 4.45, 13.5, 42.5. Tricky one that. Looks like a big line off the bat there, top rope.
There's never much happening in AFL and Scoot, and I'm not surprised that the AFL have dodged the NRL once again. First thoughts, Newcastle should do an absolute job on Canberra, but held back a little bit by the fact that Callum Pine is not very near fully fit. He's done his AC joint in his shoulder. This would be similar back. Usually this injury kind of takes 3 to 4 weeks to recover. Very concerned that their entire run of form has been entirely on his back. He has lifted this team. He's gone back to fullback. He has played very, very well. It's all going to be on him. So the Raiders do have a tendency to kind of make these games quite a little scrappy affairs too. So I'd rather be on the minus than the plus, but no bet on that one. But I will be betting the under in this one. 3 of the last 4 between these two have tallied 38 or fewer. The Knights have conceded 12 or fewer in their last 4. The Raiders have absolutely no points in them. All their attacking weapons continue to get hurt, sent off or suspended, so not ideal for them. And Ricky Short would not know how to cover the creative attacking plan if it slapped him in the ass. So it's going to be a bit of a slugfest arguing this one. So packed house, sold out a long time ago early in the week. So I think the under is the way I'll place one. Not all on the refs as well. Ashley Klein, 9 of his last 13-day games have gone under the total.
Oh, well, Kalen Pong is made out of glass, so Ricky Stewart only has to come out with one strategy, and that's to put him into the ground. So if Kalen Pong gets knocked over...
You'd think it'll be that easy, Scott.
It has to be. It's the only way.
This is a guy for the last 2 weeks has played a winger at fullback, a centre at wing, a fullback at centre. We had them all available on the team, so unclear what he's doing.
Ricky Stewart, Freddie... Who would you rather coaching for your life?
I'll take Ricky coaching for my life. Freddie's an idiot. At least Ricky's just a stubborn son of a bitch. I'll take Ricky over Freddie out of the way.
Outstanding. All right, I think Melbourne Storm sound like top ropes best bet. I'm chips in on Carlton, and I'll have a little bit of a same game multi action for the Brisbane Lions. MG, final word. Your best for the weekend?
Unders tonight.
Unders tonight. Yeah, there's going to be plenty of rain, so it'll be greasy. 2 defensive teams slugging it out. That's been my first episode back. A little bit ring rusty there, Thursday Night Lions, but I've got one more week to redeem myself next week. So fingers crossed it's a fill up for everyone on week 1 of finals. And a big thanks to Toprope and MG down in Melbourne, and our sponsors, of course, Comics Lounge, Punting Form, and Top Sport. I'll see you next week. Can't wait.